The painful truth is this. Just because she is silent does not mean she has forgotten you. A woman can stop texting and still check. She can act cold and still wonder. She can look like she moved on and still open your profile when the room gets quiet. She can tell herself she is done and still feel something when your name appears in her mind at night. But listen carefully. Do not build your life around the fantasy that she is watching. Do not sit there hoping she is checking on you every night so your ego can feel important again. Because the real question is not, is she checking on me? The real question is, why am I still checking whether she is checking? That is where your power is. Maybe she watches, maybe she does not. Maybe she misses you, maybe she is pretending not to. Maybe she is curious, maybe she is gone. But none of that changes what you must do next. Because a man does not regain respect by chasing, he regains power by staying calm when every part of him wants to react. He regains power by stepping back when fear tells him to move closer. He regains power by controlling his emotions, rebuilding his life, and letting his actions speak louder than his pain. The goal is not to manipulate her into returning. The goal is not to make her jealous. The goal is not to punish her with silence. The goal is to become a man who no longer loses himself when someone walks away. That is the man she does not expect, because most men fall apart after silence. They say they are done, but they keep checking her stories. They say they are moving on, but they still look for signs. They say they will never text again, but every night they write the message in their head. They say they do not care, but one post from her ruins their whole mood. They say they are strong, but one small hint pulls them back into overthinking. And that is where a man loses himself, not because he loved her, but because he made her attention the proof of his value. When she was warm, he felt valuable. When she was cold, he felt worthless. When she replied fast, he felt chosen. When she disappeared, he felt replaceable. That is not love. That is emotional dependence. And no man can live peacefully when his identity is controlled by someone else's phone. Now, when she pulls away and you think it is over, your first instinct is to do something, sext her, ask what happened, says a paragraph, explain your heart, check her profile, post something so she sees it, ask a mutual friend, look for another man, Mitch for proof that she still cares. But every time you do that, you give your power away, because chasing is not always physical. Sometimes chasing is emotional. Sometimes chasing is checking her last post. Sometimes chasing is counting how many hours since she replied. Sometimes chasing is watching who views your story. Sometimes chasing is wondering if she is watching you. Sometimes chasing is building your entire mood around what she may or may not be thinking. That is still chasing. You may not be texting her, but your mind is still sitting outside her door. And a man cannot rebuild while his attention is trapped in the life of someone who chose distance. Your attention is valuable, your time is valuable, your peace is valuable, your discipline is valuable, your future is valuable. So stop giving your strongest energy to a woman who is giving you uncertainty. That is not hate, that is self-respect. Now here's what most men do not understand. If she is still checking on you, she is not always checking because she wants to come back. Sometimes she checks because she is curious. Sometimes she checks because she is used to your presence. Sometimes she checks because she misses the feeling of being wanted. Sometimes she checks because she wants to know if you are still hurting. Sometimes she checks because her pride wants proof that you have not moved on. Sometimes she checks because she is confused. Sometimes she checks because she still cares but does not know how to face it. And sometimes she is not checking at all. That possibility matters too. Because a mature man does not build his life around invisible signs. He builds his life around what is clear. And what is clear is this. If she wants to talk, she can talk. If she wants clarity, she can bring clarity. If she wants to repair something, she can show maturity. If she wants access again, she must come with respect. But you do not chase shadows. You do not chase views. You do not chase silence. You do not chase a woman's curiosity. You stay grounded, because curiosity is not commitment. A story view is not accountability. A late night thought is not change behavior. A hidden check is not a real return. A woman watching your life from a distance is not the same as a woman walking toward you with clarity. That is the truth that keeps you strong. Now let us talk about the man lying in bed at night. He tells himself, I am not going to text her. He tries to act strong, but the room is quiet, the phone is close. His mind starts creating stories. Maybe she is checking on me. Maybe she misses me. Maybe she is waiting for me to reach out. Maybe she wants to talk, but her pride is stopping her. Maybe if I post something, she will react. Maybe if I disappear harder, she will feel it. Maybe if I look happy, she will regret it. And just like that, he is no longer healing. He is performing. He is not building his life. He is building a stage for her to watch. He trains so she notices. He posts so she reacts. He stays silent so she breaks. He moves on only in a way that he hopes she can see. That is not freedom. That is still being controlled. If your growth is only real when she sees it, it is not growth yet. It is performance. Real growth happens when nobody is watching. Real discipline happens when there is no applause. Real self-respect happens when she does not text, does not check, does not explain, and you still keep your promise to yourself. That is what makes a man different. Because any man can act strong when he knows she is watching, but can you stay strong when you have no proof? Can you keep building when she gives you nothing? Can you stop checking when your mind is begging for signs? Can you accept silence without turning it into panic? That is where the real work begins. Now, the mistake most men make after she leaves is that they try to protect the connection more than they protect their dignity. She gets distant, and he becomes more available. She replies late, and he replies instantly. She gives less, and he gives more. She becomes uncertain, and he starts explaining. She stops choosing him clearly, and he starts auditioning for his place. He thinks he is saving the relationship, but often he is teaching her that she can give less and still receive more. He is teaching her that distance gets rewarded. He is teaching her that confusion gets attention. He is teaching her that she can pull away and he will chase. And whether she realizes it or not, that destroys attraction, because attraction does not grow where desperation is leading. Respect does not grow where a man is begging for basic effort. Desire does not grow where a woman feels that her silence controls his emotional state. That is why chasing destroys the very thing you are trying to save. You think another message will make her remember, but it often makes her feel pressure. You think another explanation will make her understand, but it often makes her feel your fear. You think another apology will soften her, but it often makes you look like you are willing to carry blame just to keep access. You think checking her life gives you information, but most of the time, it just gives you pain, and pain makes men react. A strong man breaks that cycle. He says, if she wants distance, I will respect distance. He says, if she wants silence, I will not fight silence. He says, if she is unclear, I will not become desperate for clarity. He says, if she chooses life without my presence, she can experience life without my presence. That is not cruelty. That is maturity. You do not need to punish her. You simply stop rescuing the connection alone. Now, if she is still checking on you every night, your silence becomes different when it is clean. Clean silence does not say, look at me. Clean silence does not say, I hope you suffer. Clean silence does not say, I am ignoring you, so you chase me. Clean silence says, I am no longer available for confusion. It says, I care, but I will not chase. It says, I miss you, but I will not abandon myself. It says, if you come back with clarity and respect, I can listen. If not, I keep walking. That is powerful because it belongs to you. But fake silence still belongs to her. If you are silent only to make her miss you, she owns your silence. If you are silent only to make her regret it, she owns your silence. If you are silent only because you are waiting for her to break, she owns your silence. Real silence is not waiting. Real silence is rebuilding. That is why your life must change while your phone stays quiet. If your phone is quiet but your life is the same, your silence will turn into obsession. If your phone is quiet but your body is weak, your money is messy, your routine is broken, your sleep is destroyed, and your mind is still focused on her, then you are not moving forward. You are frozen, and a frozen man becomes bitter. You need motion. Motion is medicine. Train your body, not so she notices, but so you remember your strength. Build your money, not so she regrets leaving, but so your future has options. Fix your sleep, not because it sounds motivational, but because tired men make weak decisions. Work on discipline, not to impress her, but because your emotions cannot be trusted to lead every choice. Deepen your faith or inner grounding, not to perform peace, but to actually have peace. Pain without discipline becomes bitterness. Pain with discipline becomes power. Use the pain correctly. Do not use it to stalk. Use it to train. Do not use it to compare. Use it to build. Do not use it to beg. Use it to become steady. Do not use it to hate women. Use it to raise your standards. That is transformation now. Here is the practical reset you need. For 7 days, do not message her first from panic. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends about her. Do not post to get her attention. Do not make emotional decisions at night. Do not read old messages until your chest hurts. Do not send a soft message when what you really want is reassurance. Put that energy into training, work, money, sleep, discipline, faith, emotional control, and rebuilding your identity. Train even if your mind is heavy. Clean your space even if your emotions feel messy. Eat properly because heartbreak drains your focus. Walk when anxiety hits. Write what you want to say, but do not send it from panic. Put your phone away before midnight. Build your day before your emotions build it for you. This is not about pretending you do not care. It is about proving that her silence does not own you. Every time you do not chase, you rebuild self-trust. Every time you do not check, you rebuild control. Every time you do not ask about her, you rebuild dignity. Every time you keep your routine while hurting, you become stronger. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. You said you would not chase. Do not chase. You said you would not beg. Do not beg. You said you would not abandon your standards. Do not abandon them. That is how a man becomes solid, and a solid man is not easily pulled back into chaos. Now your mind will attack you during this reset. It will say, she forgot you. It will say, she is happier without you. It will say, another man replaced you. It will say she is checking on you, so maybe you should post something. It will say she is not checking on you, so maybe you should text. It will say if you do nothing, you will lose her forever. But fear speaks like certainty. Fear speaks like certainty. It creates a full story with no proof. It turns one silent day into permanent rejection. It turns one post into proof she is happier. It turns one story view into proof she wants you back. It turns one unanswered message into proof you meant nothing. Do not let fear become your leader. A grounded man says, maybe she checks. Maybe she does not. Maybe she misses me. Maybe she does not. Maybe she returns. Maybe she never does. But I will not destroy my dignity trying to control what I cannot control. That is peace. You do not control whether she checks on you. You control whether you check on her. You do not control whether she misses you. You control whether you chase. You do not control whether she comes back. You control whether you keep your standards. You do not control whether she regrets it. You control whether you rebuild. You do not control her feelings. You control your actions, that is masculinity. Not control over a woman, control over yourself. Now, what happens if she really is checking every night? She may start seeing your absence differently. At first, she may think you are angry. Then she may think you are playing a game. Then she may think you will break. Then she may notice that you are not moving like the old version of yourself. You are not begging. You are not arguing. You are not posting desperate things. You are not trying to prove you are fine. You are not chasing her attention. You are not competing with anyone. You are just gone from the emotional place where she expected you to stay, and that can make a person think, not always, not guaranteed. But it can, because people notice when access changes. They notice when the person who used to react stops reacting. They notice when the person who used to explain stops explaining. They notice when the person who used to chase stops chasing. They notice when the attention that once felt automatic is no longer available. But do not make her noticing your mission. Your mission is not to be watched. Your mission is to become stronger. If she watches you build, keep building. If she does not watch, keep building. If she comes back, be calm. If she does not, stay calm. That is how you know the growth is real, because the best version of you is not created for her reaction. It is created for your life now. If she reaches out, this is where most men lose everything. She sends one small message. Hey, how have you been? I saw your post. You've been quiet. I was thinking about you. Do you hate me now? Can we talk? And suddenly the old man wakes up. His hands get nervous. His heart jumps. His mind says, this is it. He replies instantly. He writes too much. He asks if she missed him. He tries to force clarity. He pours out weeks of pain into one conversation. He treats one small message like the full relationship is back. And she feels it. She feels the hunger. She feels the pressure. She feels that his silence was not growth. It was waiting. Do not be that man. A small message is not a full return. A hey is not accountability. And I miss you is not changed behavior. A late night text is not emotional maturity. A story view is not love. A woman touching the door is not the same as a woman walking through it with clarity. If she says, hey, you can say, hey, hope you're doing well. That is enough. If she says, I miss you, you can say, I hear you. What made you reach out? If she says, I've been thinking about us, you can say, I understand. What do you want to do with that? If she says, can we talk? You can say, we can talk, but I am not rushing back into anything. These are not games. They are calm boundaries. They show openness without desperation. They invite clarity without begging. They protect your peace without attacking her. A real return can handle patience. A fake return usually cannot. If she genuinely wants to reconnect, she will respect your pace. If she only wants emotional access, she may disappear when she realizes you are not easy anymore. Let that happen. You need truth more than temporary comfort, because temporary comfort can pull you back into the same cycle that broke you. Truth sets you free. Now, if she says, you changed, do not become defensive, you can say, I had to. The old version of me kept losing himself. If she says, you do not care anymore, you can say, I care, but I am not chasing confusion anymore. If she says, so you just stopped trying, you can say, I stepped back because I needed peace. That is enough. Do not over-explain. Do not defend your growth for an hour. Do not let guilt drag you back into a place your self-respect already left. A man with a center speaks clearly, then watches behavior, because behavior gives you information. If she respects your boundary, that is information. If she mocks it, that is information. If she takes accountability, that is information. If she only wants access without responsibility, that is information. Do not fear information. Fear ignoring it because fantasy feels better. Now, if she comes back with real maturity, do not punish her. This matters. Some men finally get attention back, then become arrogant. They act cold. They say, now you want me? They try to make her feel small because she hurt them. But that is not strength. That is pain pretending to be power. A strong man does not need revenge to feel masculine. If she comes with clarity, listen. If she comes with humility, observe. If she comes with consistent effort, allow trust to build slowly, but do not rush. Forgiveness can happen in a moment. Trust takes time. Do not confuse the two. If she apologizes, receive it calmly, but watch behavior. If she says she misses you, hear it but watch consistency. If she wants to talk, talk, but do not throw away your peace. That is how a mature man moves. Now, if she comes back with confusion, step back. If she says, I miss you, but I do not know what I want, do not become her emotional waiting room. If she says, I care, but I am not ready, do not give full access to uncertainty. If she reaches out at night and disappears in the morning, do not chase. If she wants comfort without responsibility, step back. A man with self-respect does not build his peace on maybe. Maybe can have space, maybe can have observation, maybe does not get your whole heart. That is how you protect yourself. Now, what if she is not checking? What if she is not watching? What if she is not losing sleep? What if she never reaches out? This is the part your ego does not want to hear. Maybe she never texts. Maybe she never apologizes. Maybe she never admits what she lost. Maybe she never gives you the closure you wanted. Maybe she really moves on. Maybe the story ends without the scene your heart keeps imagining. Can you still become strong? That is the test. Because if your healing depends on her watching, she still owns your healing. If your confidence depends on her checking, she still owns your confidence. If your peace depends on her coming back, she still owns your peace. That is too much power to give one person. The highest proof is not her checking. The highest proof is your peace. Can you sleep without her reply? Can you train without needing her to notice? Can you work without checking your phone every 10 minutes? Can you stop asking about her? Can you feel sadness without turning it into begging? Can you remember her without reopening the wound? Can you love deeply without losing your frame? That is success. Because a man who can do that is no longer easy to break. He is harder to manipulate, harder to pull into chaos, harder to make insecure, harder to treat like an option, harder to replace with temporary attention. That man is attractive because he is not desperate for attraction. He has direction. And direction is one of the strongest things a man can have. A man with direction does not orbit around a woman's uncertainty. He has things to build. He has a body to strengthen. He has money to earn. He has skills to sharpen. He has faith to deepen. He has standards to protect. He has a future that does not pause because one person became unclear. That is real masculine power, not forcing her to miss you, not hoping she checks every night, not making her regret not playing games. Becoming the man who no longer has to beg anyone to see his worth. Now ask yourself something honest. Do you want her back because she is good for your peace? Or do you want her back because being chosen again would repair the wound of rejection? Do you miss her character? Or do you miss the version of yourself you felt like when she wanted you? Do you want a healthy relationship? Or do you want proof that you were enough? These questions matter because sometimes a man does not want the woman back. He wants the rejection reversed. He wants the silence to end. He wants the pain to stop. He wants one message to prove he still matters. He wants to know she is checking because he thinks her checking proves his value. But that is not love. That is the wound asking for validation. Real love cannot grow where self-respect is missing. If she comes back with clarity and respect, listen. If she comes back with confusion, step back. If she never comes back, keep walking. Because the goal is not to be secretly watched by someone who left. The goal is to become a man who never abandons himself when someone stops choosing him clearly. That is the real transformation. Now tonight, when your mind tells you she might be checking on you, do not let that thought control your actions. Do not post from ego. Do not text from panic. Do not check from pain. Do not beg for reassurance. Do not search for proof that she misses you. Do not turn her silence into your identity. Put the phone down. Stand up. Drink water. Walk, train, pray, work, lot, sleep, build. Do one thing that makes tomorrow better. Because discipline is how a man tells heartbreak, you can hurt me, but you cannot lead me. That is the man she may not expect, not the man who begged, not the man who folded, not the man who built his life around being watched. The man who hurt but stayed composed, the man who cared but did not abandon himself. The man who wanted her but did not make her attention the measure of his worth. The man who turned silence into standards, pain into discipline, and loss into direction. That man is hard to manipulate. That man is hard to replace. That man is free. So remember this. Maybe she is checking on you every night. Maybe she is not. Maybe she misses you. Maybe she does not. Maybe she comes back. Maybe she never does. But your power cannot depend on what she does in silence. Your power depends on what you do with your own life. Do you stop chasing? Do you stop checking? Do you stop begging? Do you stop rewarding confusion? Do you stop turning pain into messages? Do you stop making her silence the center of your identity? That is the real question. Take your energy back. Build your body. Build your mind. Build your money. Build your peace, build your discipline, build your direction. Become a man whose self-respect is stronger than his fear of being forgotten, because the deepest truth is this. The goal is not to prove she is still checking. The goal is to become so grounded that whether she checks or never looks again, you still wake up and choose the man you are becoming.